everybody, it's Jessica here from Double the Stitches, and in today's video I'm going to show you how to use a provisional cast-on for the garter tab method to cast on for a shawl. I really love this method because it gives you a really nice neat edge and you really can't see where the cast-on is. It's really nice and kind of invisible. This is just a little mini version of my Alim shawlette, which will be coming out soon. So I just cast on a little bit just so that you can see what it looks like. So in order to do this method, you're going to need a piece of scrap yarn. You're going to need the yarn that you're using to knit the shawl. You're going to need a crochet hook and your knitting needles. So let's get started. Okay, so with your scrap yarn, we're going to use the provisional cast-on method, and we're going to eventually cast on 3 stitches. I like to add a couple of extra stitches and to my crochet chain when I do that. So I'm going to start with making a slip knot. There's a lot of different ways to do that. One way I like to teach my students is I put the yarn over my fingers, I come across and I make an X, put my thumb over that, and then I can take my crochet hook in this case and I go under the front loop, over the back loop, and pull through. And then I can tighten that up, and here we have an adjustable ring. There's many different ways to make a slip knot. You do not need to follow this method, but it is one of the ways I found to teach it. Okay, so we're going to we'll chain 6 because we need 3 stitches, and I like to have a little bit on each side. And I've got my crochet hook in the slip knot. And I'm going to chain by grabbing that back strand of yarn and pulling it through the loop. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Okay, we're done with the crochet hook. And what we're going to do is cast on provisionally with this scrap yarn, and you see these little bumps here in the back. That's where we're going to put our stitches. So we're going to take one of our knitting needles and we're going to grab, let's start with this one. We're going to grab this bump here, and with our yarn for the shawl, I'm going to put it over the needle and pull through, and now I'm going to put the needle in, pull through a second stitch, and pull through a third stitch. So now I have cast on 3 stitches. Hang tight for a minute, I'll be right back. I'm going to go knit in this pattern. I have you knit 9 rows. So I'm going to do that and I will be right back. Okay, and we're back. So I had paused the video so that I could knit the 9 rows of garter stitch. And now I'm going to show you what to do next. I knit the 9 rows across the 3 stitches. Anytime that you're working a garter tab cast on, you're going to have to follow the pattern that you're using, and it will tell you how many stitches to cast on, as well as how many rows to work. In this case, we needed 3 stitches and 9 rows. The next step is to pick up and knit the stitches along the edge of the garter piece that you worked. In order to do that, we're going to rotate the work 1/4 of a turn, and we're going to use the tip of our knitting needle to pick up a strand of yarn and knit. We're going to do this in between the garter bumps as we go. So that is 2, here is number 3 and this is number 4. So we've got the 3 initial stitches and then we have the 4 we picked up along the edge. Get the tail out of the way. And now we're going to pick up the live stitches from the provisional cast-on that we worked before and take them off of the scrap yarn. In order to do that, I like to put my needle in the stitch first, and I'll just come a little bit closer so that you can get a better view of what I'm doing. So I'm putting the tip of the needle into the strand and removing the scrap yarn just from that stitch. And I want to knit these stitches. So, whoop. It can be a little bit tricky sometimes. Okay, do what you need to do to get that in. Okay, so that is the first one. Here is the second one. Putting the needle in so I don't lose that loop. Removing the scrap yarn. And knitting. Now I'm up to the last one. I want to make sure that is not twisted because you want it to sit on your needle correctly. So you're putting it into the last loop. You can now remove your scrap yarn and you're going to pick up a strand and knit that last one. Now I'm going to slide this back on the cord of my circular needles and I can show you what we've got. We've got a nice even invisible provisional garter tab cast on. We have our first 3 stitches here. We have the 4 that we picked up along the side and the 3 that we picked up from the provisional cast on, the live stitches there. I hope this video helped. Happy knitting. Thanks for watching.